Hello, everybody, and a warm welcome to you from the Estadio Rommel Fernández in the capital city of Panama City, Panama, as it is the Concacaf Nations League quarterfinals, second leg between Panama and Costa Rica. Sean St. Jacques here with you, our entire crew. Thrilled to have you with us. It could be an almighty night for the Canalmen this evening, a chance to punch their ticket to the Concacaf Nations League semis and to Copa America as well. It promises to be a tremendous atmosphere tonight. 78 degrees in the Panamanian capital city tonight, and we cannot wait to see how it plays out. The first leg played out very nicely indeed for Panama, a 3-0 road win at the home of the Ticos in Costa Rica. They are hoping to repeat that performance tonight to make sure that there is no Costa Rican comeback. For the Ticos, they have to pull off a heck of a recovery if they are to get back into this tie and potentially force extra time or maybe even penalties. The 3 road away goals for Panama put them in prime position to finish the job tonight and not only get back to the Copa America for the second time in their history, but to get back to the CONCACAF Nations League finals for the second season in a row. Costa Rica haven't been to the semis since the inaugural season of the Nations League back in 2019-2020. They'll have to pull off an incredible comeback tonight if they're going to have a chance of repeating the same feat. Panama seem to be a never-stopping engine at the moment. Defensively, they've been as good as anybody in the Nations League so far. They had to get here the hard way through the qualification process, but they got here. They had an incredible first leg, and it's Costa Rica with their backs against the wall tonight in front of a tremendous crowd here in Panama City. Overall, between these two, Costa Rica have dominated the all-time series. However, the last 11 games have been 7 Panama wins and just 2 Costa Rica wins. We will step aside. The crowd is ready. The teams are ready. The anthems are next. And then the kickoff in the second leg between Panama and Costa Rica.
Nos preparamos para escuchar con mucho respeto el himno nacional de Costa Rica. Ahora nos ponemos de pie para entonar las notas del glorioso himno nacional de Panamá.
Well, you can hear the roar inside the Estadio Rommel Fernández in Panama City. Panama are hoping for fireworks tonight, quite literally, and they are hoping to finish off the Ticos tonight to get back to the Copa America and back to the Concacaf Nations League finals, both for the second time in their history. Costa Rica need an all-time recovery if they are going to force extra time, let alone win the tie itself. It promises to be a very exciting evening, and we will see how it all plays out in just a few moments. But first, the starting lineups for the two combatants. Thomas Christensen's Panamanian side looks like this. Jose Fajardo and Ismael Diaz were a handful for the Ticos in the first leg. But of course, the game and the team goes through Coco Carrasquilla and Edgar Barcenas in the midfield. And of course, Jose Cordoba and Fidel Escobar leading the line defensively in front of Orlando Mosquera in goal. Well, Panama continue to show at major tournaments that they are so tough to deal with as the two captains meet in the center. Syed Martinez leads our Honduran officiating crew tonight in Panama City, with Barcenas as the captain for Panama in their home Reds. And of course, Francisco Calvo, the captain for Costa Rica in their road whites this evening. And of course, there is VAR. It is a American VAR booth led by Alan Chapman and Tim Ford. Well, we're thrilled to bring this one to you. Panama have a 3-0 lead on aggregate. Costa Rica are hoping to come from behind, despite the mountain that they will have to climb here in Panama City this evening. But the Ticos have a lot of pride. They've shown that over the decades in major tournaments. And Gustavo Alfaro's 11 is hoping they can create some more magic tonight. Manfred Ugalde and Anthony Contreras leading the front line. Brandon Aguilera and Jeffrey Valverde in that four-man midfield will be crucial. And of course, Calvo, the captain, along with Brian Oviedo, who plays for Real Salt Lake and MLS, will be critical defensively in front of goalkeeper Kevin Chamorro. Well, the Panamanian capital is ready. They are hoping for a celebratory proceeding tonight. But the Ticos have other ideas, hoping to recreate what Panama did to them in the first leg of this quarterfinal tie in the Nations League. Only a 3-0 Costa Rican win would take us to extra time, but crazier things have happened. It will be Costa Rica to get us started, going from left to right in their road whites in the cauldron that is the Estadio Rommel Fernández. And Syed Martinez is our head official from Honduras. We await the sound of his whistle here in Panama. Off we go from Panama City. Panama did a big portion of the job in the first leg. They lead 3-0 on aggregate tonight. Costa Rica will feel, though, if they can get back into it, maybe, just maybe, there's a chance to recover it. Panama will hope that nothing of the sort happens tonight and that they can send their fans home happy and dreaming of Dallas for the Nations League finals and dreaming of a Copa America to come in 2024. It'd be a tremendous end to this campaign in 2023 for the Panamanians, who had to do it the hard way to even get to this point, qualifying out of League A, Group A of the Nations League qualifiers. Costa Rica were waiting for them when the knockout stage bracket came out. However, they were royally sucker punched on their home soil on match day one, or I should say leg one of this tie. They are hoping to return the favor here tonight. And if they don't, they will once again miss out on the semifinals of the Nations League. Thomas Christensen, the head coach for Panama, continues to work wonders with this group. Panama, of course, coming off a tremendous Gold Cup campaign where they were really one goal away from taking Mexico to extra time before Santiago Jimenez broke their hearts at the death. But Panama feel they're so close to lifting that big piece of silverware and to get back to a second consecutive Nations League finals and to get back to Copa America for the first time since 2016, just the second time in their history. If they can see this out tonight, would be another giant leap in the right direction. And for Costa Rica, it just feels like the tables have been turned on them in this fixture. All time, the Ticos have dominated Panama in the head-to-head series with 26 wins. However, in the last 11, Panama have beaten them 7 times and drawn twice. Challenge comes in here, and it's going to be an early yellow card, it appears, for Jose Fajardo, who plays for DC United in Major League Soccer, and of course was such a big part of the last game between these two, scoring the middle of the 3 goals. It appears he's the one that's been booked here, and it's happened just about with 2 minutes on the clock. Well, await confirmation, but he was the one that wasn't happy with the referee's decision. And that is an early little footnote to keep in mind as the match goes along here. Fajardo's yellow is confirmed for Panama. Of course, for those that have been keeping track of Nations League throughout the day, the United States surviving a Trinidad and Tobago scare. They qualify for the Nations League semis and for Copa America. They win 4-2 on aggregate, despite losing tonight by 2-1 against the Soca Warriors. So one spot has been booked in Dallas for the Nations League finals. Who will get the second? Panama, of course, have 1 foot there, but 2 are required to make sure they will fight for a trophy in 2024. Maybe, of course, fighting for 2, because a place in Dallas for the semis, of course, means a place in Copa America 2024 as well. Costa Rica are hoping that they can change the tide, and maybe a set piece will help, as that's going to be a foul and a free kick for the Ticos on this near side after some decent work from Elias Aguilar, who plays for Herediano. His club play. I think the Panamanians were saying there maybe wasn't a ton of contact there. However, the free kick has been given, and Costa Rica have an early set piece to work with. And of course, if Costa Rica were to do it, it would be an all-timer. And of course, the first goal would be absolutely paramount. There's no question about that. And set pieces, where the Ticos in the past have been so good, is a place where they're gonna need to have success tonight. Aguilar stands over along with Alejandro Braun, their teammates together at Herediano. Ball is curled, and it's dangerous, and it's headed wide of the post. That was a beautifully weighted ball in. Manfred Ugalde gets his head to it, and it's a whisker wide of Mosquera's post. Well, those are the kind of moments that Costa Rica are going to have to capitalize on. Everything with the ball going on target there for the visitors, and Panama with a bit of an early set piece scare. Well, Costa Rica have so much pride. They're not going to go down quietly into the night. You're going to still have to earn it if you're Panama. And of course they know that. These two have played in big games over the years, whether it's been in Gold Cup or even recently in Nations League. Of course, these two teams played in the last Nations League. Panama beating Costa Rica by 1-0. The aforementioned Jose Fajardo scored in that game as well. And that was the first time Panama ever advanced to the Concacaf Nations League finals. That is a trip, it's a foul, and it's a free kick won by Christian Martinez for Panama. And the Canalmen have an early set piece as well. Another look. It's a bit of a clumsy challenge in the end from Braun. And Syed Martinez is very well placed to spot it. Well, we talked about the Costa Rican road back into this, but of course Panama with 1 goal would turn a mountain into a skyscraper. It would just be a huge goal. A goal that maybe takes Costa Rica out of the tie completely. It's going to be taken by Carrasquilla. It's off the training ground. Rodriguez curls in a pretty good ball, but it's going to go over everybody's head in the end. Chased down by Michael Murillo. But in the end, he can't catch up to it, and the Olympic Marseille man Lets it go out of play for a throw-in on the far side. Well, of course, if Panama score the first goal, it could be curtains, I should say, for Costa Rica. And Carrasquilla is majestic sometimes when he can play between defenders. He's able to win the ball back as well after being briefly dispossessed. Of course, he has big games to come in the MLS Cup playoffs with his club side, Houston Dynamo. But first things first, finishing the job here against their Concacaf rivals in the Nations League. Andrade up ahead. Nice turn by Jose Rodriguez, but he's forced back. And it's a reset all the way back to Fidel Escobar. Well, Panama again had to qualify through League A, Group A play. They finished in first place, got 10 points along the way. They were unbeaten. 3 wins and just 1 draw against Guatemala along the way. And of course, they're on a 4-game Nations League winning streak coming into this second leg tonight. And during that run, they've only conceded 1 goal, and that was against Curacao in Curacao back on October 13th. And in the end, it was very much a consolation. The last 3 games for the Canalmen, they've been absolutely tremendous. Costa Rica, however, might get a chance here. A shot does come in. It's blocked away off the edge of the penalty area. And Panama maybe with a chance to surge up the other end. Barcenas thought about it, and it's slowed down in the end for Carrasquilla. The last 3 games for Panama, they've been able to really put the pedal to the metal. And even the last 2, they've outscored opponents 6-0, the 3-0 win against Guatemala. And then, of course, winning in Costa Rica. That ball is played, and it went over the head of Cascante, who didn't quite read that correctly. But in the end, it was also over the head of Ismael Diaz, who was the target, and it's out of play. Again, the first boot to drop will be that first goal, if we do get it. And that could really take us in one of 2 directions. Panama get the ball right back. Not going to waste any time. Fajardo. Rodriguez. Barcenas across, it's deflected. Still could be a chance. It's played back centrally, looking for Diaz, and it's cleared away. Almost a really good ball in initially. Another ball does come in. Fajardo leaves it for Rodriguez, and it's cleared away. And now Costa Rica will look to counterattack. Ball is slashed through. Goalkeeper comes, Mosquera, and is able to clear it over the head of his applauding manager, Christensen, who appreciates that the goalkeeper not only got there, but he was able to deal with the situation. Well, it has been a bit end-to-end at times in these first 10 minutes, which is not the worst thing for Costa Rica, although I must say there was end-to-end moments in the first leg, and Panama much the more clinical, as you might have guessed from the 3-0 aggregate scoreline coming into this evening. Goals were scored by Michael Murillo, Jose Fajardo, and Cecilio Waterman, as well as you have a look there at Gustavo Alfaro, the Costa Rican manager. Of course, the Ticos were extremely frustrated with the way they played in the first leg, but they are not going to lie down. And of course, 1 goal can totally change the outcome. Of course, we talked about these 2 meeting at the last Nations League. These 2 met earlier in the summer during the Gold Cup as well. And as you may have guessed, Panama won that game as well. They beat the Ticos by 2-1 in the United States. Panama, of course, getting all the way to the final. They beat the defending champions, the U.S., in the semifinals on penalties to get there. As we mentioned earlier, Mexico broke their hearts just before we got into stoppage time of the final. Of course, Mexico have a bit of a mountain to climb tomorrow night. They host Honduras. They trail by 2-0 on aggregate, and El Tri will have to overcome that if they are to get past La Ache. And of course, can't forget about the Canadians taking on the Jamaicans tomorrow as well. And Canada has a 2-1 lead on aggregate as the scene shifts from Jamaica up north to Canada for the second leg. It was a poor toss to get the ball in position for the free kick, and the referee rightly has asked that Costa Rica take it from a further back position. Now, in a game where time is of the essence for Costa Rica, can't have too many of these moments. Of course, the loser of this goes to a play-in round to see who gets a spot in Copa America. But of course, that also means that you're out of the Nations League, no semi-final place. And only 6 of these 8 will move on to Copa America 2024. Well, that ball is touched in behind, but the offside flag is up. And Panama can reset the play. We mentioned earlier the all-time series between these two. Going back to that 2022-2023, I should say, Nations League campaign, Panama also beat Costa Rica in the group stage in Panama as well. 2-0 win. Ismael Diaz and Cecilio Waterman were on the score sheet. Panama is actually unbeaten against Costa Rica all time in the Nations League, and Panama has never conceded against Costa Rica in the Nations League either. So the numbers would tell you that Costa Rica have a big job to do, but they're going to try it as that shot does come in. And again, it's rather easy for Orlando Mosquera. He was able to hold on. And again, Panama can reset from the back. So Costa Rica are going to have to make quite a bit of history tonight in many senses when you look at the numbers, if they are going to pull off a shocker this evening. Of course, Panama's defensive structure, just ask anyone in the region who's gone up against them. It's one of the toughest. And that's why this team has been so successful over the last few cycles, I should say. And it's been making history at the World Cup, the Gold Cup, the Nations League, you name it. This Panama side have done it. The only thing they haven't done, of course, is lifted the trophy at the end. And they are hoping that maybe this Nations League campaign could be the one where they do lift a big piece of Concacaf silverware. It's a good battle for it in this corner. Barcenas, in the end, does rather well, but he does concede the corner as Costa Rica continue to try to bite into this 3-0 aggregate deficit. Another set piece opportunity for them to work with. Aguilar will take it. From the corner, it's whipped in, a chance to maybe head it on frame, but a foul is committed inside the 6-yard box. Murillo wins the free kick. And Panama, again, alleviate the pressure. Well, another look. And it was a good ball in, and actually the collision happens before the ball really gets into the penalty area. It was a good header away by Jose Fajardo. Now, in the end, it is still a chance for Panama to recycle things at the back. Cordoba, under a bit of pressure, gets the ball away, doesn't need to take a chance. And some lovely control by Ismael Diaz, but he's dispossessed in the end by Alejandro Bran. And then Diaz trying to win the ball back off of Brandon Aguilera, concedes the free kick. Again, if Costa Rica can force extra time, they would have to score 3 unanswered goals tonight, which would be, again, as we mentioned earlier, a very tall task. And again, if Panama sees it out, they will go to Dallas in 2024 in March for the Nations League finals for the 2nd consecutive season. And they'll go to their just their 2nd ever Copa America as well. They were there back in 2016 when it was in the United States. But of course, they only played 3 games at that tournament. 1 win, it must be said, but 2 defeats in the group stage. And they did not progress from there. Throw-in is going to go Panama's way on the near side. Of course, Costa Rica haven't been to the Copa America since 2016 as well. There were no Concacaf teams invited to the last 2 Copa Americas. COVID played a bit of a role in that, it must be said. But Costa Rica also failed to get out of the group stage last time they were in the Copa America back in 2016. 1 win, 1 draw, 1 defeat. Ball is played centrally by Aguilera. Costa Rica forced back ever so slightly to the captain, Calvo. And Bran. Good first touch, infield by Valverde. But again, Panama close it down defensively. And Rodriguez looks to go the other way. Still Rodriguez, he turns on the jets. And his cross into the penalty area is a curling one. And it's going to go out of play. It's a goal kick. Well, Jose Rodriguez put on the afterburners there for a second. And glided past a couple of challenges, but was not able to pick out the right pass in the end. Going back to the Copa America history for these 2 countries, Costa Rica have actually been knocked out of the last 2 group stages they've been in at the Copa America. Back in 2004, however, they did get to the quarterfinal round. That was actually the 2nd time in a row at the time they had done that in what is a very tough competition to win. And of course, for those with a head in the sand, Argentina are the defending champions. Panama on the break here. It's a chance to score the goal. It comes for a big chance, and it's in! The initial chance was parried out, but Jose Fajardo on the follow-up scores. And Panama are nearly there. It just had to be him. Jose Fajardo just loves scoring at Costa Rica's expense. Panama leads 1-0 on the night. They lead 4-0 on aggregate. And they are very nearly in the Copa America group stage and in the Nations League finals. It was parried out by Chamorro, but it fell ever so kindly for Fajardo, and he absolutely dispatches it. Decent ball across by Michael Murillo, but nothing the goalkeeper could do on the follow-up. And it's the same old story in this fixture. Panama leads by a 1-0. Panama just seems to have Costa Rica's number at the moment. And after 20 minutes where it seemed like Costa Rica had some moments where they could maybe find a way to create some chances, Panama hit back at the other end. And just like in the first leg, are far the more clinical. And as we said earlier, that hill to climb for Costa Rica has gone from a mountain to maybe too tall at this point. And Jose Fajardo's record against Costa Rica just keeps getting better and better. He scored the goal that beat Costa Rica to get to the Nations League finals last time. Scored against them as well at the Gold Cup. And he scored against them in the first leg of this tie as well. And now he has scored in the second leg. And now he's in behind again. But this time it's dealt with by the captain, Francisco Calvo. But he gives it away. Rodriguez following up. And it's deflected out, it looks like, for a goal kick. Well, we said one goal could dictate how the night goes this evening. And if these first 23 minutes are any indication, there's still a long way to go, but Panama have just taken the next big step along the way. It's making sure there is no Costa Rican rescue act. And now Rodriguez looks to make absolutely sure! And he scores an absolute stunner! The Estadio Rommel Fernández roars into life again! And if the first goal had already done it, that goal makes absolutely sure that it's going to be Panama's night in Panama City. It's an absolute beauty from Jose Rodriguez. Kevin Chamorro maybe gets a touch to this, but it's a lovely, lovely bending strike. Panama double their money on the night. It's 5-0 on aggregate to the Canalmen. Dallas may very well beckon, and so will the Copa America if it stays like this. And it's becoming a Panamanian celebration already. And the faces are getting longer and longer for Costa Rica. Well, again, in the first leg, Michael Murillo scored a beauty inside of 4 minutes. And Panama led by 2 before the half-an-hour mark and 3 before the hour. We haven't even played 25 minutes, and after a good start from the Ticos, it must be said, Costa Rica came out with the right mindset. Panama have absolutely responded and have surely now put the tie beyond them. Well, here's the challenge just a moment ago that led to a Costa Rica free kick. And I must say, if anyone should be avoiding those kind of challenges, it's Jose Fajardo. The only way you could think that this could change would be if someone were to get sent off for Panama, and Fajardo is on a yellow card, so he needs to be a little bit more careful in those kind of situations. But I must say, if Panama continue to play like they've played over these last 10 minutes, it might be a moot point anyway. They've been absolutely scintillating. The first goal was opportunistic, but the second was out of the top drawer. Can Costa Rica get on the board? It's good build-up play onto this near side. Valverde crossing it into the middle. It is going to fall for a chance here inside the penalty area, and it is a swing and a miss by Aguilera. Aguilar picks up the pieces. All is played out wide. It's curled into the middle. It's over everybody's head except for the boot of Barcenas, who was ready for it and clears it upfield. Bran wins back possession for the Ticos. Can they gain a little bit more of a foothold in the game? They had it for about 15 minutes, but in the last 5 minutes, it has evaporated. By the way, those 2 goals came in a span of just over 3 minutes. for the Canalman. Fajardo in the 20th, Rodriguez in the 23rd. More Panamanian pressure forces a poor ball ahead. And again, Panama will regain possession via a goal kick. Well, again, if it holds, Costa Rica can still qualify for Copa America. However, they would have to go through the play-in round, which will take place on March 23rd, 2024 in Frisco, Texas. And Panama now are looking to add on to their lead once more. Ball played essentially for Rodriguez, but it's cut out. Carrasquilla dispossessed. Aguilar for Costa Rica. Harried by the challenge that came in by Andrade. Aguilar does well initially. Just about keeps possession. Panama looking for a free kick. It hasn't come. And then it's a good step by Carrasquilla. He always seems to make an impact in that midfield one way or another. And it must be said, the way that these, well, let's say game and a quarter so far have gone by in this tie, it's been very open at times between these two. It's been end to end. The big difference is that Panama have been far, far more clinical. Costa Rica have had their opportunities, especially in the first leg. They had a really good amount of chances on home soil. They've come here, they created a few set-piece opportunities, had a headed opportunity go whisker wide of the post. But at the other end, defensively, it has just not been good enough, and Panama have more than made them pay for it. It must be said, it just feels like, on all fronts, really, Panama continue to grow as a group. They continue to take down the best teams in the region, just about all of them. And when they put together performances like this, you start to wonder how far they can go. Costa Rica are trying to get back in, and a shot is blocked on the edge of the penalty area. Just when it feels like Panama are stretched, they do enough defensively to snuff out the chance. Lovely ball played into the path of Rodriguez. Rodriguez has scored once already and tries to set up another opportunity for Fajardo, and Diaz was in there as well. It was held by Chamorro and recycled into play. Again, if you're just joining us, it's 2-0 on the night. It's 5-0 Panama on aggregate. They won 3-0 in the first leg. And if you're still keeping score as far as what Costa Rica have to do, at this point, they would have to score 5 goals. That is a foul, and it's a free kick, just about on the midfield line. Well, that man has had a couple of tough nights so far in these Nations League knockout stages. Gustavo Alfaro, it just hasn't quite gone their way. There's been some positive moments, but frankly, not enough of them. Especially for the standards the Ticos have held over these last 9 to 10 years, going back to their incredible quarterfinal run at the Brazilian World Cup back in 2014. And they nearly got to the semis. You could argue it's the best run a Concacaf team has had at the World Cup in quite some time. Have to go back to the US in 2002 to find an equally as good run. And of course, Panama have made recent history getting to the 2018 World Cup at the US's expense during that qualifying campaign. And they made history. They got their first ever World Cup goal against England, no less, although it came in a heavy defeat. And then, of course, what they have done recently in these CONCACAF competitions. course, they'll be looking to avenge what happened to them in the Nations League last time around. They lost to Canada in the semis by 2-0 and then lost to Mexico in the third place game. Panama were the fourth place finishers at the last Nations League, as that ball is headed back to Mosquera. Of course, we could have a fresh 4 at the next Nations League finals. Mexico in trouble. Canada have a big job to do tomorrow as well. Just 2-1 up against the Reggae Boys of Jamaica. So it could be shuffled up quite a bit. Of course, the defending champions, the U.S., will be there after they lost tonight against Trinidad and Tobago, but advanced 4-2 on aggregate despite a Serginho Dest yellow card that turned into a second yellow card, which, yes, turned into a red, of course. And Trinidad and Tobago with another impressive performance. They will get a chance in the play-in round to qualify for Copa America despite their Nations League run. A tremendous run, it must be said, coming to a close tonight on home soil despite beating the U.S., the 10 men of the U.S. by 2-1. U.S. with that 3-0 win in the first leg, enough to go through to the semis and to Copa America as well. This ball is fluttered over the top. Ooh, goalkeeper has to come out of the penalty area to get to that. Chamorro heads it out of play. Rodriguez gets the throw. And in the end, Panama not in too much hurry now with the 5-goal aggregate cushion. Can use some possession and maybe still play their way through. A chance to really make sure. It's a chance to shoot! And it's a tight angle there for the shot from Andres Andrade. Good save by Chamorro, but again, Costa Rica played through rather easily, and they have a corner to defend on the back end. Carrasquilla will take the corner short. Rodriguez. Hit by Barcenas, deflected. And then headed on the edge of the penalty area. Fein appeals for a foul. Costa Rica come out with it. Well, if Costa Rica are going to have any chance at it the rest of the way, they are going to need to get 1 goal back before we get to halftime. If they can, it would still be a very difficult task. However, any bit of momentum for them at this point is crucial. Their backs were against the wall before a ball was kicked. And if nothing changes quickly, Panama are going to ride into Dallas in March of 2024. Bron. Well, that's a lovely ball played onto this far side. Maybe a chance here for Contreras. Contreras' curled ball is deflected, and then it's touched out of play for a corner. That could have been a real chance. Ugalde trying to link up with Aguilera, or beg your pardon, with Aguilar. Not the best of defensive moves that time from Panama, and they do have a corner to defend here. Just under 10 minutes left in the half of this second leg. Aguilar again will step up to take this, looking for a white shirt available in the penalty area. Can Costa Rica save some face before halftime? Aguilar's ball in. He's headed down centrally. Nobody there, though, to react for Costa Rica. Panama have reacted, and they have a chance to break here. It's a 3-on-1. Fajardo looking for Carrasquilla. It falls for another chance, blocked away. Fajardo again. Ismael Diaz trying to play it centrally for Cordoba, and it's poked away. Now, Panama had a really good chance there. Carrasquilla was begging for the ball to be played in earlier to him. But in the end, Costa Rica do enough in transition to get back and stop the chance. Oh, that's a lovely first touch from Ugalde. Surrounded by red shirts on the back end, but there's teammates coming to help. Aguilera out wide. Aguilar continued his run, the pass central. He's picked up by Contreras. Near side, Valverde. Played central for Braun, who likes to think better of it, and plays it back to Calvo. Now then, maybe a chance to cross this into the middle, or maybe not. Calvo again. Aguilera is going to shoot, but it was always bending. And in the end, it bends well wide of Mosquera's goal. And it's decent build-up play from Gustavo Alfaro's group, but once again, no end product. Goal kick, which will be taken by Fidel Escobar, who plays for Deportivo Saprissa, who recently punched their ticket in the play-in round to next Concacaf Champions Cup. Another shot does come in here, this time from Aguilar, and again, he's bent wide of the post. Well, Costa Rica looking for any bit of momentum, any positive at the moment. Again, a goal before halftime maybe gives them some hope to hold on to. But this is what Panama can do. They can suck the life out of a game once they got the position that they require to win the game, or in this case, not only win the game, but win the tie as well. It can be very, very difficult with the way the Canalmen defend. Of course, Costa Rica have yet to score against them in any Nations League game, let alone having to score 5 in just over a half's time. It just goes back to what Thomas Christensen, his staff, and what this talented group of players has been able to do. There's a lot of MLS influence on this team, whether it's Carrasquilla with Houston Dynamo, Fajardo with DC United, Anibal Godoy on the bench, plays for Nashville. But it's not just that. There's other big clubs, whether it's in the region or elsewhere, that are represented throughout the squad. And Panama's future continues to be a very bright one, as you could see by their display so far tonight. Ooh, Rodriguez is brought down, and it's just outside of the penalty area. Well, I wondered for a moment if Sayed Martinez was going to point to the penalty spot. He hasn't. It's going to be a free kick just outside of the 18-yard box. Ooh, and if the challenge was there, I wonder if VAR may have a look at this. And it's an American video assistant referee crew tonight, led by Alan Chapman. It's the first touch, but then is that enough of a trip? And of course, was it inside the penalty area? That first look made it seem like the contact may have been inside, but was there enough contact? For the time being, it appears it is going to be a free kick. I'm sure VAR at least had a glance at it. In the end, I think Sayed Martinez, he's going to stay with that decision. And Panama will look to add another here before the half is out. Edgar Barcenas, the captain, standing over it along with Fidel Escobar. Oh, I beg your pardon. VAR has taken a look at this. And it looks like the referee has pointed to the penalty spot. The decision has been changed, and it's a Panama penalty. Well, we said that Alan Chapman and company were going to take a look at it. And in the end, they have told the referee that it is a penalty. Well, again, it wasn't necessarily about the contact, because the contact appeared inside the penalty area. I think it came down to, was there enough? And the referees from VAR says there was. And Panama are awarded a late first half penalty here. Edgar Barcenas is going to take this. The captain will look to put this beyond a reasonable doubt. Chamorro in goal for Costa Rica. Barcenas steps up for Panama and scores. Captain's goal for the Canalman. 3 first half goals to make absolutely sure that Dallas is ahead and Copa America is in their future. They've been just as good tonight as they were in Costa Rica last week. They lead 3-0 on the night. It's 6-0 on aggregate. And the second half promises to be a Panamanian party in the capital city tonight. Another look. Again, the contact looked to have come inside the penalty area. It just came down to how much contact there was. Alan Chapman says there's enough for a penalty, and Barcenas makes absolutely no mistake here on the pen. Chamorro goes the right way, but he's a spectator. And Panama have been absolutely sensational yet again in the Nations League. And the fans inside the Estadio Rommel Fernández have enjoyed every last second of it. And Costa Rica, over the last nearly half an hour, have been played off the park. And Panama are hungry for more. It's a lovely run. It's not a bad effort. And the shot from Andrade soars over the top of the bar and out of play. Now we're seconds away from first half stoppage time, but Panama have made sure, and they have left absolutely no doubt before we've gotten to the end of this first half. 3-0 on the night, 6-0 on aggregate, half a dozen over the 2 legs. This ball is floated over the top. Again, Costa Rica trying to make some headway. Anthony Contreras, he's shepherded away, and it's easy for Orlando Mosquera. Well, just like in the first leg, 3 different goal scorers for the Canalman. And it promises to be a party-like atmosphere in the second half. 2 added minutes left in the first half. Now they've just been all over Costa Rica. The stats back that up. For the first 10 or 15 minutes, it really felt like Costa Rica maybe could create some chances and just maybe make this interesting. But Panama put out that fire very quickly, and they have roared ever since. One minute left in the first half. Carrasquilla up ahead to Diaz. And that is a foul, and it will be a free kick for Costa Rica. Well, I must say that Costa Rica have recently scored 6 in a match. To go back to the Gold Cup, they scored 6 in a 6-4 win against Martinique in the group stage, I should say. That was the highest scoring Gold Cup game ever. But of course, to do it in one half would just be unthinkable. And Panama have shown again tonight that they are so tough defensively to deal with. And when you're not clinical against the better defensive teams, they will make you pay. And Panama have done that tonight. That ball is out of play. It is going to be a throw-in on the near side. And that is the end of the first half. Panama came into the night sitting in the box seat to move on to the Concacaf Nations League finals and to the Copa America as well. They've only gone and doubled their advantage in the first 45 minutes. 3 different goal scorers: Fajardo, Rodriguez, and the captain Barcenas from the penalty spot. Costa Rica are all but surely going to Frisco next calendar year for the play-in, and Panama are all but booked for Dallas and for Copa America as well. Still 45 minutes to go, but it's turning into a Panamanian party in the capital. At the half, it is the Canalmen of Panama 3, Costa Rica 0. Sean St. Jacques back here with you, moments away from the start of the second half in this Nations League quarterfinal second leg. Ball is kicked off. Panama kicking from left to right. Have a 3-0 lead on the night. A 6-0 lead on aggregate, and just have to make sure that nothing remarkable happens in this second half, and they will not only punch their ticket to Dallas for the Concacaf Nations League finals and a semi-final appearance yet again in this competition, they will also punch their ticket to yet another Copa America appearance as well, which would be the second in their history. Couple of changes to make you aware of at the half. Costa Rica bringing on talisman and leader Joel Campbell to take on the role in the midfield. Elias Aguilar making way in that change. 3 changes for Panama. Giovanni Ramos, Cecilio Waterman, who was the hero from the first leg, and Cesar Yanis all coming on. Andreas Andrade, Jose Fajardo, and Jose Rodriguez. The latter two were 2 of Panama's 3 goal scorers in the first half. All of them make way. So 4 changes in all, 3 for Panama, 1 for Costa Rica. We'll try to save some face in this second half, knowing that they're likely destined for Frisco, Texas, for the play-in round, for a chance not to necessarily stay in the Nations League, of course. They'll be out if it stays like this, but they will still get a chance to qualify for Copa America 2024, which of course is no small prize. This is the second of our 4 quarterfinals. Today, the U.S. surviving a late scare against Trinidad and Tobago after the U.S. went down to 10 men at one point. Trinidad and Tobago won 2-1 on the night, but the U.S. advance 4-2 on aggregate after a 3-0 win in the first leg. So the U.S. are in the Copa America 2024 competition, and they will go back to defend their crown at the Nations League finals in March of next year in Dallas, Texas. And Panama are very keen on joining them, and they are not far off away from clinching their spot. For we have 2 more exciting quarterfinals for you tomorrow, with Canada hosting Jamaica, having a 2-1 lead on aggregate in that quarterfinal. And then, of course, Honduras trying to do the unthinkable and knock out Mexico. And if they were to do it, of course, they would have to do it in Azteca. La Ache have a 2-0 lead on aggregate. But of course, we know what Mexico are capable of in Mexico City. All of that is for tomorrow. There is still 1 half to play here tonight. And Costa Rica will get another set piece to work with here. Can they create something from it and be clinical inside the penalty area? That's what's been lacking for them in these quarterfinal games. Ball is curled in. Oh, it is dangerous. It bounces around as the goalkeeper misses the initial punch. It's a curled cross back in by Julio Cascante, and he couldn't find anybody. Musquera made a bit of a mess of that coming off of his line, but ends up making the save on the cross back into the middle. Again, Fajardo, Rodriguez, Barcenas, all on the score sheet tonight for Panama. It's so similar to how the first leg played out. 3 different goal scorers putting it out of reach. And Costa Rica at the moment just trying to save face on the night. Not too worried at the moment, unfortunately for them, about the aggregate scoreline, which is just about beyond them, if not beyond them. And again, considering the history between these two, especially in the Nations League, Panama just continues to have the edge when these 2 nations get together. It's a remarkable twist of fate in this fixture overall, because it used to just be a foregone conclusion that Costa Rica would win when these 2 would get together, but boy, have times changed. Ball's going to go out of play. Panama get a throw just about 5 minutes into the second half. Again, we touched on it earlier. Panama have won 7 of the last 11 between these 2, and 4 in a row. It's going to be 5 tonight, most likely. And Costa Rica, out of those 11, just 2 wins, and then 2 of those, of course, have finished honors even. Again, mentioned it earlier for Panama, trying to get back to the Copa America at the next time of asking. Last time they were in it, of course, was when it was hosted in the US. It was the Copa America Centenario back in 2016. And of course, Panama were in a very, very difficult group at that Copa America. Back in 2016, the finalists at that Copa America were Chile, led by Alexis Sanchez. As Joel Campbell flares this in. And of course, Lionel Messi's Argentina both got to the final in MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. As this is an open header, and it's a goal. Costa Rica finally score against Panama in the Nations League. It's a very nice header by the captain, Francisco Calvo. Costa Rica finally get on the score sheet. It is 3-1 on the night. It's 6-1 on aggregate. And Costa Rica begin to save a bit of face here in Panama City. It's 3-1. Well, it will be looked at for an offside decision here. But it is a beautifully placed header off a great curling ball into the penalty area. Both captains will have scored if it holds up to a VAR check. And Costa Rica will have finally scored against the Panamanians in this competition if it stands as well. Looks like the goal will stand. At least that was the initial indication. And it is given. Referee pointed to the spot in the middle. He does so again. The goal is given. VAR confirms it. Costa Rica finally score against Panama in the Nations League. They've got it back to 3-1 on the night, and it's 6-1 on aggregate. And both captains have found the back of the net tonight. Barcenas in the first half, and Calvo with his head in the second half. Well, that's what's been missing for Costa Rica, that finishing touch. And they have finally found a bit of it here in the second half. Just to finish the earlier thought, Panama, last time they were in Copa America, the two finalists in the end were in their group, Chile and Argentina. Of course, Chile won in East Rutherford, New Jersey in the final on penalties. Panama did have a bit of a go in that group. They beat Bolivia on match day 1. They won by 2-1 in Orlando, Camping World Stadium at the time as it was known. But then, of course, Messi in Argentina, Alexis Sanchez in Chile had their way after that. This will be a foul, it will be a free kick. And it looks like a yellow card is going to come out as well. Another look at the challenge, and Ugalde taken out there by Fidel Escobar, who sees yellow for the challenge. Set piece here for Costa Rica. Oh, what can they do from this? Campbell's ball in. Comes out to the edge of the penalty area. Recycled by Braun. Sent back into the middle, and it was misjudged, I think, by Calvo, or maybe he thought he was offside. Didn't really attack it, and I must say, Orlando Mosquera left the door open there by not going after it. In the end, maybe the potential of an offside flag saves Panama there. And Costa Rica started to maybe build a little bit in confidence, at least on the night. But what can they turn it into the rest of the way? There's still some time for Costa Rica to work with, but how much can they do with it is the question. Let's put a little bit of a damper on this Panamanian party. Another goal would certainly make things a little bit more interesting, but Campbell's reverse ball is picked off by Barcenas. Well, last time Costa Rica were in the Copa America, it was the same one back in 2016. I must say they were in a rather difficult group as well, with the US, Paraguay, and Colombia as well. Costa Rica drew Paraguay on match day 1. They lost 4-0 to the US on match day 2 before they did beat Colombia in a bit of an upset on match day 3, but it wasn't enough. And in the end, the US qualified through to the knockout stages as the group winners, and Colombia came in second. It's going to be a foul, and it's a free kick. Again, if Panama see this out, and they're still in very good shape to do so, they will try and go a step further in the Nations League than they did last time around when they lost to Canada in the semifinals. The Canadians won by 2-0 and got to the final, which was a huge, huge milestone for them at the time. However, the US would have the better of them and beat them 2-0 in Vegas to lift the Nations League for the second time. Of course, the US did that after dispatching Mexico in the semis by 3-0. But of course, Mexico have gone on to win the Gold Cup in the past summer, and of course have some work to do tomorrow in the Estadio Azteca against Honduras, trailing by 2-0 on aggregate. Meanwhile, Panama moving ahead here. Chance to curl this into the middle. It was dangerous. Ismael Diaz looks to pick up the pieces after the ball was curled in by Murillo. Shot comes in from Cordoba, and it's deflected out for a Panama corner, as they're looking to re-establish their dominance after Costa Rica found a goal. Well, now it's just mostly for Panama about game management, which might as well be their middle name. And they're so good at it, especially against Concacaf opposition. And again, it's so rare that they even concede goals, especially in the Nations League. They've been so, so good defensively. That goal that Costa Rica scored just a few minutes ago is just the 3rd goal all tournament that Panama has conceded, and just the 1st ever against Costa Rica, regardless of the year that we've played the Nations League since its inception back in 2019-2020. That's quite the sample size. Referee trying to keep things good inside the penalty area, and from the free kick, or beg your pardon, from the corner, it's headed on. Chamorro only can punch it away, and it'll stay with Panama on the near side via a throw. And Chamorro maybe didn't realize how much time he had there. Could have caught it off the ricochet. I think it was Christian Martinez who put the header on target. Chamorro didn't want to take a risk, and in the end could only find the time to punch it. Ball is won back here. Escobar into the middle. It was dangerous, and it's headed down into safety. And Joel Campbell helps out as well to make sure Costa Rica get the ball away. Campbell, poor touch, gives it back to Panama. So rare you see him make a miscue. Barcenas leading Panama forward as we approach the hour mark in Panama City. Carrasquilla, lovely little give and go, but it's well defended and cleared in the end. And Braun comes out with possession, able to skip past the challenge from Carrasquilla. And Campbell will reset the play. Well, 2024 Copa America should be some event. With all the incredible talent that CONMEBOL has at its disposal. Of course, Argentina, Brazil, the last 2 winners of it. Both finals being played at the Maracanã in Brazil. Argentina, as we mentioned earlier, Lionel Messi and company are the defending champions. But Concacaf does tend to have their say at Copa America, still awaiting their first lifting of the trophy, despite Mexico becoming runners-up twice in their history of the competition. But I must say, over the years, Concacaf tend to knock out some of the bigger teams in CONMEBOL, must be said. We know the US will be there, Panama are nearly there, half an hour away from booking a place, and then we'll see which of the 4 teams tomorrow will make their way in as well. And then, of course, the play-in rounds in March of next year will decide the final 2 places. It's going to be a foul, and it is a free kick for Costa Rica in a pretty good spot here with just under half an hour plus stoppage time to go. To make this interesting, Costa Rica would have to score a couple more, but they are getting some opportunities. As we saw in the first leg, it just comes down to being clinical. They've got one. What can they do with this? Joel Campbell will stand over this. He's been a hero time and time again for the Ticos over the years. He curls this one in. It's headed on, and it's headed wide. Another really good chance for Costa Rica tonight. So delicately played in by Joel Campbell. But again, Mosquera not tested with the header. And the chance goes wide of the target. And then Campbell, thinking he'd maybe harried instead of harmed, commits the foul. And the free kick is won by Michael Murillo, as we mentioned earlier, plays in Ligue 1 in France for Marseille. Orlando Mosquera. Ball is played ahead. It finds Barcenas. Carrasquilla outside of the boot, ball over the top, and it's well defended by Giancarlo Gonzalez. But then Gonzalez gives it away to Ismael Diaz. Diaz dances away from 2 challenges. Diaz plays it centrally. It's Martinez. His shot is blocked. It could still bounce around. Waterman, who scored in the first leg, trying to find it, but it hits off of his backside, and it's claimed in the end by Chamorro. Well, again, great extra effort from the Canalman here. Nearly yielded a big chance. Christian Martinez, if he had a little bit more space, could have really tested the goalkeeper. But in the end, not on that occasion. Costa Rica do well to get some bodies in front. And it'll lead to a throw-in for the Ticos at the other end. Here's the Costa Rican goal scorer, Calvo. Campbell, of course, has played for Arsenal in the English Premier League in his past. He has scored, of course, at the World Cup. Has had some huge moments in multiple major tournaments for Costa Rica over the years. He's had an incredible decade of football in his career, for club and for country, it must be said. Played in all the big competitions. This ball is served out wide by Brandon Aguilera. This is Bran, who plays for Herediano, one of the club giants in the region. Oviedo plays for Real Salt Lake. Near side. There's a chance to maybe curl that in by Costa Rica. It's recycled all the way back to Gonzalez. Ball is fluttered into the penalty area, headed away by Escobar. And Panama can reset in possession through Carrasquilla initially. And now their captain Barcenas on the far side. And we've had some great action throughout the leagues. Today, it must be said, League C and League B have provided plenty of drama. as well. And of course, in our first quarterfinal today, Trinidad and Tobago made life quite a bit difficult for the defending champions, the US, and ended up beating them in the second leg. However, the US did win on aggregate by 4-2, as we mentioned earlier. The big moment, of course, that'll be talked about was the Serginho Dest double yellow in a matter of moments. Just overly frustrated with the referee. He was sent off. US from there were 1-0 up, but then fell behind by 2-1, not too far after that. But held on, and the 3-0 win in the first leg sees them off to Dallas for the Nations League finals. And the US, of course, will be back in Copa America as well. As Panama will look to join them in about 25 minutes' time. Fidel Escobar. Near side, Yanis. Controlled by the substitute Ramos out wide. Chance for Cordoba to make a run. Didn't do too much with it in the end. It's another lovely turn by Ugalde. Ugalde stays with it. Joel Campbell is in the penalty area, chops it across, and Barcenas makes a crucial challenge. Well, Costa Rica were faintly appealing, I think, for a handball inside the penalty area. Of course, regardless, VAR will be having a look over that, but didn't look like the appeals were too serious from the visitors. And Panama come away with the ball in the end. Thought initially that Joel Campbell might take aim himself. Thought better of it and played in a decent ball, but it was cut out by the Panamanian captain at the vital moment. Carrasquilla thought about marauding ahead. You know what he's capable of with the ball inside of midfield in the penalty area. And again, Panama conceding here against Costa Rica. It's the first time they've conceded in over a month of Nations League play. Their record has been almost immaculate. Carrasquilla gives the ball away high up the field in the end. Campbell in possession. Of course, Costa Rica running out of time, but trying to get back into the match, at least on the night. Trailing 6-1 on aggregate. It's Ugalde. He's a bit ambitious from there. And again, it flashes wide of Mosquera's post. In the end, after some good play by the likes of Campbell to win the ball back off of Carrasquilla, Costa Rica can't do much with it in the end, and in some ways that's been the story of this quarterfinal round for them. Oh, that ball's gonna go all the way through. Goalkeeper's off his line and overcommits, and the ball is in. But now the flag goes up. I was just going to say, would the flag go up late or not? The ball was put in by Alvaro Zamora, the substitute. For now, the goal is going to be chalked out, but of course it will be looked at by Alan Chapman and the video assistant referee. It was tough to tell from the initial angle. It was a great finish. We're going to get another look at it here. And remember, it's when the ball is kicked, and from that angle, it does look like the assistant may very well have gotten that spot on. The big point to bring up here is that nobody touched the ball as it went through. So it's where the player was when the ball was kicked. That angle looks to show. And Zamora, who also plays for Deportivo Saprissa for his club football, was in an offside position, and VAR has confirmed that decision. So Costa Rica see a goal get chalked out. And any chances of a late flurry may be chalked out with it as we approach the final 20 minutes. And maybe putting the Calvo goal to the side, it has still been a tremendous and celebratory atmosphere here in Panama City. The Estadio Rommel Fernández has been vibrant all night, and for good reason. Of course, they'd love to see another goal from their boys, but I think they're more looking forward to the final whistle. Waterman, though, wins it back off of Costa Rica. Carrasquilla helped out as well. Murillo. Still Murillo on his left, and it's deflected out of play and out for a corner. Well, you could see Murillo, as soon as he dribbled towards the penalty area, he was sizing it up, cut into space, and Costa Rica are a bit fortunate that there was enough men behind the ball here. Dangerous strike, deflected out by Giancarlo Gonzalez. From the corner, Martinez. Ball is curled in by Escobar. It comes up short. Carrasquilla. Barcenas, lovely skill. Gets past one challenge. Might have to come back to help out, although good skill initially. Sees the ball get ricocheted back to Barcenas after the second challenge came in. And Carrasquilla resets the play. Yanis for Escobar. This game does feel like there could be a few more goals in it. I'm not sure how much it will play into the final outcome. This time Costa Rica do well defensively. They win the ball back. Maybe a chance to break here in transition. A lovely ball curled into the path of Zamora. Campbell's in support. As you may have briefly seen at the bottom part of the screen, substitutions for both teams are getting ready to come on shortly. Calvo, booed by the Panamanian supporters for scoring and maybe ruining the clean sheet, which is so important for this group. Calvo looked to play in Oviedo, who looks to have run out of room here. And it is out of play for a goal kick. And that will lead us to the changes. Jewison Bennett, who plays for Sunderland in the English Championship, he's going to come on, along with Kenneth Vargas, another Herediano product. Looks like Brian Oviedo of Real Salt Lake is going to leave us, as will Ugalde for Costa Rica. And then the Panamanian substitution. Looks like it's going to be Cesar Blackman who is going to come on. And that will be that for Christian Martinez, who gets a standing ovation as he leaves here in Panama City. Panama trying to put the finishing touches on another memorable night in the country's footballing history. All three of their goals came in the first half. If you're just joining us, Costa Rica did get one back. They scored again, but it was ruled out for offside and confirmed by VAR. But of course, the big story is that on the night, Costa Rica lead by 3-1, but on aggregate, it is 6-1. That's the big number that matters. And the Canalmen are surging forward again. Blackman trying to get involved initially. Ball is just about dealt with. And Zamora helps Costa Rica play it out of the back. Calvo, not the best ball, but it's kept in play by the substitute Bennett, just getting his feet wet in this fixture. Again, the Panamanian pressure pays off. Murillo wins it back and wins a free kick, it looks like, here for Panama. Just over 15 minutes left in this quarterfinal. Carrasquilla. Barcenas. Blackman. The Panamanian supporters in full voice, so appreciative of what their team has done. Not just in the first leg, but of course tonight as well, to make sure that things didn't get too interesting. And now they're starting to really put on the show here. Diaz up ahead. Blackman. Can he keep it in play? The answer is yes. He stays with it. He's brought down. And the referee will award Panama a free kick on the far side. Well, it was stardust football from initially Ismael Diaz. Blackman getting in on the fun as well. And Panama have a set piece to work with after Blackman gets pulled down quite literally here on the back end. And I'm not sure pointing at the ball there by Jeffrey Valverde was going to help his case after that pretty obvious shirt pull. Thomas Christensen is about to add yet another feather to his coaching cap. Getting his team to another Nations League finals and getting them back to Copa America for just the second time in their history. 13 minutes before that's confirmed. In the meantime, a free kick for Coco Carrasquilla. And it nearly goes all the way in. It's punched away by Chamorro. It's headed back into the penalty area. Calvo's header. And this time Chamorro is able to lunge high and get to it. Costa Rica are looking to break up the other end. Zamora finding Benet. Decent cross into the middle, but Barcenas does so well to get back. And then Panama briefly had it through Cesar Yanis, but he gives it back, and now Costa Rica can work with it as they continue to try to at least get back into this game on the night if they can't on aggregate. That ball is threaded through. Nobody there in a white shirt to really go after it. Blackman shepherds it back. And Mosquera will take as much time as he needs. Goals tonight have been scored by Fajardo, Rodriguez, and Barcenas. The former of those three, the two former of those three have been substituted out. Calvo got one back 7 minutes into the start of this half. And then Costa Rica had a goal chalked out after that due to offside as Calvo picks up a foul here, and he is going to pick up a yellow card for his troubles as well. Ali has scored tonight, the captain, but now he's into the book as well, and well, it's pretty clear why as you look at the replay. Those tactical fouls, as some call them, almost always are met with yellow cards to follow. Here is Carrasquilla, who continues to shine for Panama. Even when he doesn't put his name on the score sheet or pick up an assist, he's the key cog to this Panama system and this Panama team as a whole. Of course, can't forget about Barcenas, the captain. His influence and his performance tonight on both ends has been tremendous. Well, this is a lovely ball played in behind, maybe a chance to cross this into the middle. Vargas tries to cross it. It's deflected out by Blackman. The two substitutes colliding there. It is a Costa Rica corner, and Costa Rica are also going to make a change with 10 minutes left. Alexi Gamboa of Alajuelense is going to come on, and Julio Cascante is going to be relieved here. "10 minutes plus stoppage time to go before Panama confirm their place in the Nations League semis and Copa America. From the corner, Campbell's ball in is punched away. Coming together on the edge of the penalty area. Costa Rica looking for a penalty. Referee looks away rather quickly, not interested. Costa Rican player is still down as the substitute, Blackman, leaks ahead here for Panama. Ismael Diaz surging ahead. Still Diaz, he's brought down. Referee says it's a fair challenge on the ball, and Blackman tries to follow it up, but it goes out for a goal kick. And the initial thoughts here, it looks like, is that Calvo made a fair challenge on Ismael Diaz, who nearly beat him inside the penalty area. And on the back end here, it looks like the referee, Syed Martinez, has a yellow card out. And it is for, I believe, one of the Costa Rican assistant coaches not thrilled with something. It's been a frustrating evening and frustrating quarterfinal in general for the Ticos. Well, I think in the end here, the fourth official, Nelson, I should say, Salgado, directed the center referee to something that was being said. And that's why the yellow card was brandished. And now Costa Rica looking to get another one back at the other end. Shot from Zamora is blocked. Zamora again! Good save by Mosquera. And it's out for a corner. Two big chances for the substitute, Alvaro Zamora. And Mosquera has maybe made his biggest save of the night. Hasn't had to make too many. He parries it out for a corner with 8 minutes of the 90 left. There's another brief stoppage here before the corner will be taken. Now we're ready to go, or are we? We were ready to go for a second. And the referee has spotted something away from the play, away from the ball here. One of the Panama defenders is down, and on top of that, a little bit of pushing and shoving away from that. And now there's some inkling here that maybe Jose Cordoba, who was down, might need to be substituted. We'll see if that happens, but for now, after a couple of brief stoppages here, Joel Campbell will take the corner for Costa Rica. Campbell's ball in is dangerous again, but Panama get their head to it first, and the Ticos will settle for a throw on the near side. Zamora, Bennett. Campbell slipping as he curled. His pass is blocked. And then a chance here for Panama to break the other way. But Ismael Diaz, feeling he was held, stopped running. He doesn't get the decision, and Costa Rica get it back in the end. Well, the fans here not thrilled with how that played out. Campbell down the line here for Bennett. Bennett keeps on going here for Costa Rica. Zamora in the middle. Forced away by Carrasquilla. Aguilera for Campbell. Campbell chopping it in beautifully. Zamora keeps on coming. His cross is blocked. Braun lets fly, but it soars over the top and out, as some of his teammates were hoping for some service instead of a shot. And that will take us into the final 5 minutes plus stoppage time. Gustavo Alfaro has to feel that some things have gone better for Costa Rica in this second half. It's arguably the best half they've played in the tie. It's come with too little and too late left in it. Again, it is 3-1 on the night, but it is 6-1 on aggregate. And Panama can sniff a semi-final berth and a Copa America berth as well. But we talked about it. Costa Rica were going to play through to the end. They have done so. And Benet, the substitute, crossing in another dangerous ball. It nearly fell for Aguilera. Maybe a chance here for the substitute Gamboa. He plays Campbell in. Gamboa leaves it. Benet. A step over. Campbell lays it off. Helped along by Braun. It goes all the way back to Calvo. Campbell just trying to lift one over the top. Too close in the end to Orlando Mosquera. And we will have half of the picture filled out for the Concacaf Nations League finals at the end of the night. It will be the US, the defending champs. Panama will join them in 4 minutes plus stoppage time. It's a lovely overhead kick clearance by, in the end, Murillo. And of course, we'll see which two join them tomorrow and who will join Trinidad and Tobago and Costa Rica for the play-in. Panama want to finish this off in style as Waterman tries to make his way in the penalty area, but he loses out. And he's a bit overzealous and commits a foul in the process. And the offside flag may have actually gone up as well, as Panama will make another change. It's their final one of the night. Alfredo Stevens, he's going to come on. And it will be a loud roar for this man, Ismael Diaz, who is applauded off here in Panama City with the job just about done for the Canalman here tonight. It really has been another near perfect performance from Panama in this game. The first leg couldn't have gone any better for them. 3-0 win in Costa Rica. They've conceded the one, but up until that point, they have been absolutely perfect, just about flawless, especially after the first 15 minutes of the match. Just the way that they are able to be so good from back to front that makes them a real contender for this Nations League crown after they nearly won the Gold Cup. Ball is curled in by Zamora, held by Mosquera. And again, one more reminder, 2 more quarterfinals tomorrow. Canada hosts Jamaica. Canadians have a 2-1 lead on aggregate with 2 away goals. They got away from Jamaica in the first leg, and then Honduras winning in the first leg over Mexico by 2-0. They go to Azteca tomorrow with a chance to pull off a huge, huge upset. But as we said earlier, Mexico are a tough, tough cookie in Azteca, especially when there's so much riding on it. We will see if El Tri will be up to the task tomorrow night. And then we'll have the full picture for the Nations League finals. And 4 of the 6 Copa America bids out of Concacaf will be clinched. But of course, those 2 play-in games still to come. And the calendar flips over to 2024 in Frisco. We know Costa Rica will be there along with Trinidad and Tobago. We will see how the rest of that picture forms after tomorrow night. Overall, in this quarterfinal, it has just been too much Panama for Costa Rica to handle in the end. And as we tick into the 90th minute, Costa Rica still trying to at least fight their way back on the night. Campbell's ball in, and he's headed on, but it is headed well wide by Giancarlo Gonzalez. Mosquera told to get on with it, and we're just waiting to find out how much stoppage time there will be before Panama City can celebrate en masse. They have been celebrating, it must be said, for most of the night. But their celebrations will be confirmed in just a few moments' time. We are into stoppage time at the end of this second leg. And the stoppage time is 4 added minutes. It is a foul and a free kick. Cordoba brought down. And again, Panama were in Copa America back when it was hosted by the U.S. in 2016. Because of COVID, no Concacaf teams have been at the last 2, but there will be 6 at the next one in 2024. And Panama are moments away from confirming their place. And they will confirm their 2nd consecutive Nations League finals appearance as well. And people running on the field is only going to delay that. It's not a very helpful act. But it'll take nothing away from this Panamanian performance tonight, that's for sure. And for Costa Rica, in some ways, at least in the attacking sense, it's what could have been in this tie. They really just weren't clinical enough, and I must say, defensively, they showed a few cracks as well. There's no question about that. Panama, in all facets of the game, I should say, have been the better team. And it will be confirmed in just a couple of minutes that they will be moving on to the semis of the Nations League and the big one, of course, Copa America place for 2024. It's a massive achievement. Challenge comes in. Carrasquilla was actually taken out on the follow-through. It is a free kick for the Ticos with 2 minutes left of stoppage time. Arsenas with the challenge. And then it was the Aguilera roll that took out Carrasquilla. But the foul had already been given at that point, and rightly so. Arsenas' penalty made it 3-0 in the first half. Calvo, Costa Rican captain, got it back to 3-1 early in the second half, but that's where we have stood since. Costa Rica did score again, but it was chalked out for offside. Campbell getting into the penalty area here. He keeps it in, but only for Mosquera to claim. And now there is only 60 seconds left of this quarterfinal second leg. And it really was the first half in each of these 2 legs where Panama did most of their damage. 2 goals inside of half an hour in the first leg. 2 goals inside of 25 minutes tonight, and 3 first half goals in total. Panama have really been a team that has started quick in these knockout stages and have been able to see games out from there. Ball is played back to Mosquera. Touched away and just about kept there by Ramos, who was able to continue running up the pitch in these final seconds. But Blackman knows that it's just a matter of time, and he plays it back towards midfield. Murillo has it, and the game is over. Panama have done it convincingly here in Panama City. They've clinched a spot in the Concacaf Nations League finals for a 2nd consecutive year. And for the 2nd time in their history, they're going back to Copa America in 2024. They win it on the night by 3-1. They win it on aggregate over Costa Rica by 6-1. They do it in style, and they will celebrate all night in Panama City tonight. It really was fireworks, but only Panamanian fireworks throughout this tie. They were dominant over their Costa Rican rivals, and they will be back in the semis to try to go a step further than their 2022-2023 counterparts. And of course, a spot in Copa America is just what is deserved for Thomas Christensen's team. There was a big chance that Panama would have a party tonight, and that is exactly how it has played out. 3 first-half goals, more than enough for Panama to see that they get the job done tonight. Costa Rica will head to Frisco in March of 2024 for the Concacaf play-in rounds for their place in Copa America. For our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. A memorable night for Panama here in Panama City. Again, it finishes 3-1 to Panama on the night, 6-1 on aggregate. Panama will go back to the Nations League finals and to Copa America in 2024.